welcome to the kit room. I'm joined today in the kit room by Bob from Skylotec. Great to have you back in the kit room, Bob.
It's a pleasure, great to be here.
Bob is here today because we've got exciting developments from Skylotec. We've got a new hardware range called CT by Skylotec. Bob, explain a little bit about this new venture.
A little while ago, Skylotec acquired Alu Design, Europe's largest hardware manufacturer. And with Alu Design, we, Skylotec, are now Europe's largest hardware manufacturer, which is a great position to be in.
Yeah, great.
And we have a hardware brand called CT. So this is now part of the Skylotec group, and we now have a new product selector for all the hardware from Skylotec.
One of the products from hardware CT by Skylotec that you wanted to bring and show us today was a new harness, I believe.
So Gryphon Harness in the Skylotec range, Skylotec product, really great rope access harness. It's a nice weight, it's a nice fit, it's a nice function, does everything really well. So, of course, you get a nice bag to keep it in, but it's actually a nice weight. That's a light harness.
Oh yeah, yeah, good,
yeah.
Yeah.
We sell it in two styles. We sell it with and without the chest ascender. So this is the Gryphon Ascender. Has the chest ascender already fitted, so the Myon's in, the ascender's on. You can buy it without, means if anything wears out or needs replacing for whatever reason, you're not buying a whole set. You know, it's not integral, you don't have to throw away the whole shoulders or whatever. Traditional format of the complete style of harness, so Y shoulders, central attachment point for the upper one, full rest EN361, central attachment point for your lower point for your 813, sit harness, work positioning, and then of course set of side Ds as well. Comes with all the features you'd expect, so a rear D again for full arrest, gear loops, there's a restraint point on the rear. You'll notice that it has the 358 standard, and it's marked with R because we want it for restraint, it's not an abseiling point. We have our gear loops and we have additional ones around the side, and these are with a weight rating of, I believe, 15 kilos.
Oh right, so you can take a fair bit of equipment on there.
Yeah, you can take a fair bit of equipment, but do bear in mind, if we clip 15 kilos into every gear loop, a heavy person's going to exceed the maximum rating of maybe some of his equipment, like a full arrest system.
Yep.
So we can, but maybe we don't want to carry everything on us all the time.
Good tip, good tip.
Now, we've got a nice shape to our waist pad. It's double thickness around the rear, give you more support. It's waisted nicely around the bottom of the ribs. So when you're sitting, you're not going to find your ribs are getting battered by the top of a really stiff waist belt. I know that can be an issue, and depending on your height, might depend on how much space you've got between your hips and your ribs. So it's going to give you a really good, comfortable fit. Leg loops are openable. The waist is fixed, but we can also open one shoulder so it's easy to get on.
I see the quick release buckles.
Quick release buckles. And we also have a keeper over the top to stop the web slipping, so you're not going to get that annoying creep going on through the day. And plenty of tidies where we can fold our webbing back above and below, so you've got a choice of how you want to store your webbing. One key little feature is we've got a nice little green window inside the buckle. Yeah. So if it doesn't go all the way in, you don't see it. So you know when it's clipped home, it's all the way home. The buckle is also shaped so you can't do it the wrong way around, won't go together. So it only clips in the correct way. So makes everything nice and simple. Your shoulder pad is also waisted. So just around the side of your neck, it's waisted, and we've got a nice soft binding. So there's no hard edge of webbing. Yeah. So that's going to be more comfortable for the guys who've got to work in hot environments in the t-shirts. Classic things, you see guys always wearing polo shirts because they like a collar, because it stops the webbing rubbing on the neck. So that is our Gryphon harness. Now I'll put it on, and then we can have a look at a couple of other little things.
Fantastic, Bob. We're going to do one of those magic swipes, and the next time you see us, Bob will be wearing the harness. So Bob has done his Mr. Ben and has got his harness on. Bob, talk us through a couple of the points you wanted to go through on the harness.
So, now that it's on and you can see the form of the harness around the body, a nice distance, just the right distance I find for the leg risers. So they're not too high up, they're not too low down. Everyone's going to want to try their harness on and make sure it fits, but I get on really, really well with this harness. Leg loops have got a nice bit of padding around the back, nice and deep at the back of the thighs, and then again, wasted as it comes around the inside of the thigh. Your chest attachment point, nicely in the middle of the chest, definitely not too high, so it's not going to be right up in front of your face when you're sat on the ropes. The ascender, I really like the fact that they're on 2 independent straps.
Right.
So it goes into the Myon at the bottom, and then I can actually get this nice and tight and tweak it left and right for my personal choice by adjusting the 2 independent straps that hold it on. Now these aren't load bearing, these are just there for positioning in it and holding it back towards the body so you can ascend nicely. All the attachment points are obviously marked with an A, required by the standards, and then all the webbing folds away nicely. The rear of the harness, again, adjustable strap at the back for the height of the shoulders. So depending on whether you're really tall, really short, I can adjust this and choose how high up on the middle of the back I want that rear D, and then also where the buckles are going to finish on the front of my harness. I can move them up, they'll be lower down. I can shorten it, the buckles would move higher up. So again, depending on how big my torso is, what body shape I am, I can tune this to fit really well. And of course, by having the buckle that undoes, I can make it easy to get into and out of my harness. And then when it goes back together, again, we've got a little green window so I know it's done up, and bayonet fitting so you can't get it the wrong way around.
Yeah, so once you've got it set up how you want it to be, you can just step in and step out of it.
Exactly.
Brilliant. And those cutaways you talked about along the shoulder straps, and they do make it look like it's very fitted, but not riding up your neck.
Yeah, it's a tailored harness. You know, you're going to get what you pay for. If you buy a very basic harness, it's all going to be straight webbing, hard edges. It won't be as comfortable to wear. Hard edges, if they're exposed, they might also wear more quickly. Having the padding, having the binding, having the shape, it's going to make it more comfortable. If it's more comfortable, you'll like it. You might look after it a bit more. All of those things add up.
Yeah, the added value things to something that you're just knocking around in rather than looking after your kit and it's serving a purpose.
I like hygiene factors. It's quicker, simpler, safer to use. So if it's all of those things, then why wouldn't you use it?
Well, that's fantastic. One of the attachments that can go with it, though, I think is the work seat. So we've got one here, the Seat Tec, I think it's called.
Yeah. So if you're going to be suspended for a long time, rather than just sitting in the harness, it's nice to give yourself a bit more support. The other thing we can do is we can transfer, if we are carrying a lot of tools and a lot of weight, we can transfer some of that weight into the seat, which will be suspended directly from our anchor point. And that means that this weight that's hanging from the seat, whether it be a bucket of washing up liquid for cleaning windows, a large impact driver if we're doing masonry work or fixings, then we can hang it from our seat, from our ropes directly, and it's not hanging off my body, so that's less weight and less stress on me. We've got loads of attachment points up here at the side and underneath. Surprisingly how useful these can be, because they can stop you being pulled to one side by hanging it directly underneath. Or another good place to put tool tethers for tools, so you don't want it on you, it's going to drop, it's not going to fall onto you, it will fall onto your system. The seat's turned up at either side. I was in a customer's shop recently and he starts getting it and pushing it down on the side to see how strong it is. It's reinforced with an aluminium bar, and it's a nice stiff aluminium bar. I know some of the other products on the market, they might not be quite strong enough, and over time they might bend and flex. Ours is a really good strength, it shouldn't be doing that. We've got our buckles so that our lanyards that we fasten it up to are going to be adjustable. I'll just grab the carabiners for that.
No problem.
So we can put a carabiner in each one. I like this little Ovix oval carabiner because it's really short so they don't get in the way. And then what we have on our harness is we can clip it straight into our bottom D.
Okay.
But we actually have to the side these little extra loops designed specifically for attaching our work seat to. And this means that we keep that D
that's now still free for other things.
completely clear. So I can still put a couple of descenders in here. I might have my cow's tails off it or off a separate Myon next to it. So it gives me the most usable working position and space that I can get. And then with the webbing to the side, take it out of my little tidy elastics, and we can just adjust that right up.
Brilliant.
So if I was hanging on the rope, which we'll just show you in a second, you can see how that will take all of my weight.
That's fantastic. Let's get Bob up on the rope and we can see how it works. Right, Bob, we've got you rigged up.
So I'm just demonstrating the seat. I'm not going up, I'm not going to be doing any rope access, I'm just going to stand up and sit down on the rope, so I'm just on a single line. Clip that into my attachment point, and then we'll just take all the slack out of the system. And I'm just going to sit down. Hopefully I won't swing. So now I'm sat, and I'm completely in my harness. All the weight's in here, and the seat's down here. Now I could pull it up and wriggle it, but a good trick, good way to do it, if I put it right up behind my knees, and I can adjust these without any weight on them. Woo, nice and tight, and then just sit all the way forward. So now the seat's right underneath me, straps are dead tight, these ones are loose. I've got webbing, so I can tie it that way and put it some elastics if I want. I've got good access to all of my gear loops, even the ones right underneath, and I can sit here completely balanced. I'm not using my stomach muscles overly to keep up. My legs are out, and I've got good mobility. If you've got your feet up against a wall or something, I can change the position. I can put the seat further underneath me, say if I was working on a slope, so I can change the kind of base or position for where I'm working. But this is really comfy, and I can sit in it all day long.
You do look super comfortable in it.
It's easy to move in.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. Well, we're really excited about the Gryphon Harness and work seat, so much so that our lead instructor, Andy, and our MD, Keith, have both gone out and bought one. So they're going to do a product review of this on camera, and we'll be showing you that at a later date. So Bob and I have swapped places for this next product that's come in, which has really, really upset our cameraman for continuity, but you don't mind. We've not got any ordinary Finch now, we've got a Finch Plus. Explain, please, Bob.
So we'll start out with the standard work positioning lanyard. From side Ds of my harness, round the structure back, just a simple hands-free work positioning tool. I've got a couple of different styles on the desk, different types of connectors really, both 2 meters, one with an aluminium, one with a steel. Both double action, aluminium a bit lighter, can be a bit easier to use, slightly better gate shape and size. So I would use this as a traditional work positioning device, just from one side D to my other side D, around the structure, protective strap to stop wear, and I can just simply adjust, twist the cam, I can let it out. So as if by magic, a lanyard, just because we're going off the ground. So, if I was to use my work position lanyard, take the hook, going around above an intermediate bracket, so I've got a fixed point above me. I'm going to adjust the strap, and it can't slide down because of that fixed point. Now I can adjust this really simply, just take hold of the ladder, pull the rope in, centre it, and I'm dead comfy. I can adjust it by just tilting the body, and the rope slides through, dead easy. So I just tilt the body, rope slides through. And back in again. Because it's the Plus, we also have a nifty little handle. So if I just pull the handle, the rope comes through. I have fingertip control. I can even do it under load, keeping hold of my tail end and just let myself out. So the Finch Plus, really simple to use, user-friendly, so it's quick, simple, safe.
So that extra controllability with the Finch Plus is a really great accessory to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anything else that it can do?
Well, this is a really traditional work position. Classic guy up a pole doing your telephone wires or electricity wires. But we can use it in other ways. We can use it for restraint as well. So if I come down, what I might be doing is I might be working up to an edge. So I might want to adjust it as a single line. So I could attach this to the ladder, attach this to myself. I'm going to take my fall arrest lanyard off because I'm not going to be exposed to a fall, I'm in restraint. And I can now adjust by walking backwards and holding the handle.
Okay.
I can let go of the handle and it locks. Take it in, and we can do the same way, but just with the body. And I just walk backwards.
Very good.
So either or, it's just more choice, more usability. But it always locks as soon as I let go. And I can walk right up to the edge and be restrained at all times.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, that's the Finch Plus. I see you've got a slightly different variation here.
So let's look at one of the other things the Finch can do. So we've been talking about work positioning, but we can also turn this into an anchor point. So this one is a 15-metre length. Now I'm just going to take a short wander out of picture for a moment. So, we've attached this to a nice big anchor point all the way over there on the other side of the room. Pull out some slack, using the handle or the body, pay out more rope. As much rope as you need. Clipped it into another anchor point. It's very slack. If I pull that tight, I've now got a horizontal line, and I can use this as a horizontal anchor.
Okay.
I can take my other Finch, clip it on, clip it to me, and now I can work towards an edge over here, but I can also move left and right.
Right, right.
I'm going to show you another great thing. This is quite slack and quite stretchy. Using our lovely handle descender with the pulley on the back, I can simply put it on the rope, take the tail around my extra pulley, and I can take this in and make it tighter.
Fantastic.
We just take that away. Now, because we tensioned this line, we have less deflection.
Very good.
And that gives me a greater degree of control in my restraint.
And what struck me about that, Bob, was just how simple that was to rig rather than pulleys and etc. In the traditional sense. That just seemed like a really simple way of getting extra bit of tightness on this line.
Quick, simple, safer.
Brilliant. What a fantastic piece of kit. So the Finch Plus seems to have a lot of different uses, different situations. I think it's probably endless the amount of places you could use.
So we've got 358, 397 and 12841 as the relevant standards. We can put the full standard along the bottom of the screen for you. But it means we can use it as work positioning device, rope adjustment devices, temporary anchor points. And that gives you a whole raft of possibilities for working restraint, working positioning. You could use it as a rescue tool. There's all sorts of stuff you can do with it.
It's great, and you're because of that multi-dimensional purposes that you can use it for. I think you can ultimately carry less kit because you can utilise it for more jobs. Absolutely. Brilliant. So it becomes a much more cost-effective tool as well. Anything else about the Finch Plus or Finches that we should know?
No, just buy lots.
What a great recommendation there, that we should just buy lots of Finch Pluses, and you can do that via our website at reaxltd.com. So Bob, next up you've bought a couple of ascenders for us to look at.
Yeah, so we just had a sneaky look at one, but let's go through the ascenders properly. So we have standard quick up, handle descender, left hand version, just happens to be the one I have with me today, on your rope, and it's a straightforward hand descender. Up, hold the cam back, come down. Quick feature unique to CT is you can push the button and cam down.
Okay.
So a lot of people would have stuck their finger in the top. They pull the bottom open. Sometimes people might open it too far and you're worried about the rope coming out. So CT have a clever feature. You have the extra bollard, the radius on our face, you push and it will come down. Nice ergonomic handle, 2 holes so you can attach a lanyard and an extra cow's tail or another lanyard. All your information's on the back. Really good, really strong. Really good ascender, right?
Yep. And interesting there, for someone the uneducated, you said left and right-handed versions.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Because whenever I do anything, I'm always handed a right-handed version of it, and I'm a lefty, so it's like I'm really struggling.
So the real advantage is obviously everything's facing you, because you get the right hand and have it the wrong way around, and then you're fiddling with the back. So yeah, get your rights and lefts, and it's really useful.
Brilliant.
Now, that's a quick up, but then we have the quick roll as well. The advantage of this is the extra pulley on the back. So we can have our normal hand ascender, up and down, use it in the same way. If we needed to increase our mechanical advantage with a foot loop, we could use the pulley on the back and make a simple hauling system. It has other applications because this suddenly becomes a much more useful tool now. So originally you would have had a hand ascender, a carabiner and a pulley, so you've got 3 items. So this is more compact. You can put your pulley and your carabiner through here, but then you have to know what style of carabiner you need. So it needs to be the right shape, the right size, right orientation. You need the right kind of pulley so it all sits nicely, and a bit more training and knowledge to go with it. This is, we're back to the simple hygiene factors. It's quick, it's simple, it's safer. So it's all there in one. So we played with the horizontal line earlier. So that was really simple because I just take it, put it on the rope, and then on the back, the pulley's already in place, and it's really simple just to drop the line in, and I have the 3-to-1 system instantly to tension. And I can take it off just as quick and just as easily.
Brilliant.
So, standard hand ascender, quick up. The advanced one with the pulley on your quick roll really becomes a multifunctional tool. We can do lots of things with it. We then have our smaller ascenders. So you have a simple ascender, which is very much your hand ascender, but without a big handle on it. Advantages, certainly if you're packing loads of kit, it's a lot smaller and a lot lighter. It's a lot shorter. So sometimes if you've got traverses around edges and so on, having a long handle can be a weak spot, can get bent if you lean on it. So this being shorter can be stronger. Also, it's just quicker and easier to get around those tight radiuses. It still has the same feature where you can push the cam and it comes down. You're not opening it. And it's shaped so it fits in the hand. So the heel here sits nicely into the palm of your hand and you can still pull and stand up. So we can use this as a hand ascender with your foot loop for traditional rope access ascending. We then have our chest ascender. You'll have seen it in the front of the Gryphon that we were wearing earlier. And as I said, it's a separate item, so you can buy it as an individual item. And again, we could use it as a hand ascender, but we can now also use it in our chest as well. And the body is slightly shaped, so ergonomically it fits better into that harness. And we have the same feature where we have the bollard, so I can put it onto the rope, close it, and then push the cam, and we still come down. Slightly different shape, thumb catch, because it's on the harness. Sometimes you'll see a little knot toggle on the end, so it's easier to get hold of. But with that hole, it's really easy just to get the tip of your finger in there and pull it out.
I can see how it's been designed. There's like a little lip.
Yeah, little lip, so it's easier to get hold of, especially if you're wearing gloves. So that's your CT range of ascenders. Right, teased you a little bit earlier, didn't I?
You did.
There's another set of little pulleys that we had.
Okay.
So we sell a device called an Up You Go. This is our 1 metre version, comes in a 2 and a 5.
Okay.
This is a really useful tool. You can use it for pick-off rescues, for hauling, for lifting equipment, pulling casualties, adjusting the hang on a stretcher. You can use it in loads of places because it's a pre-reeved hauling system. Nice simple set. If I just put it on this line, half the anchor point, open the bag, pull it out, pull all that spare rope out. Now at the top, there's a little lock. So if I put that lock off, so it's open, I can pull out all the rope. This is just a little 1 metre long version. If you just hold that, think heavy thoughts, not too heavy, and I can pull it in and it goes out.
Fantastic.
So it's just in and out. However, if I put the lock back on, I can haul it in and it locks. You can't pull it back out. So I can haul up the position. Now, there may be other versions of this from other manufacturers on the market. With ours, maybe some others, but definitely not all of them on the market. With this, it's rated as a point of suspension. So if I was using this to lift a casualty or a stretcher or something like that, or position myself, I don't have to have a separate backup in place. It counts as a full point of suspension. If you were doing a rope access type activity, yes, it's always 2 points of suspension. Some rescue activities you might be on single. This would count as a single point of suspension.
Right.
If you're doing rope access, yes, you would have your fall arrest system or another positioning system next to it. But 1, 2 and 5 meters, really useful.
Yeah.
And a nice little trick with it, if you take it in, if we want to lower, but lower in a controlled way, if I take the brake off and just squeeze, I can control how much and how fast I let that out. Holding the 4 lines together is plenty of friction to control it. And then we just put the lock back on, everything's done. We have plastic caps on the end, which will stop the ropes twisting as much. Now it might still go through, but this makes it much, much simpler to see how they are, and it guarantees that they stay fully around their little pulleys.
And this is a fixed carabiner that's always on there for you to attach to?
We use our keepers that we talked about before.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
So they can't take it off, everything stays together, everything's locked in a complete system, out of the bag, quicker, simpler, safer to use again.
And it's the out the bag element of this which I think is particularly cool, isn't it? Hook it on. And
With the longer version with the 5 meter, you won't fit all the rope in, so we shorten it all the way up. That helps prevent the tangling. We can shorten that, so that keeps everything in there nice and tidy. And it comes in its little carry bag. So for the 5 meter version, your carry bag's big enough to take all of the rope. And of course, we always supply it with a handle. So if you need to, clip it all on, keep it together.
Brilliant. Well, what a fantastic, easy, quick to use, all-in-one solution for that. Brilliant. Thanks. I'm glad we made time for that last piece of kit. Bob, it's been brilliant to have you back in the kit room. You're always welcome here. Skylotec are one of our key partners here at REAX. We love working with them. Hope you've enjoyed watching this edition of the kit room. For more details about how you can purchase Skylotec kit from us, please follow the link below on your screen. And until next time, from a rainy day here in Blackpool, we'll see you at the kit room. Goodbye.